Hello, and welcome to Code with Lily Code. I'm Lily, and this is Code with Lily Code. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about working at a Fortune 500 company. In my professional career, I've worked in 2 Fortune 500 companies, one of which I just started working in a week ago. On Monday actually, so it's been exactly 5 days. I'm going to just fill you in on my experience with Fortune 500 companies, and then I'm also going to do other videos on my backstory, how I got here, and to fill you in if you'd like some guidance or inspiration. Hopefully I can assist you. You can reach out, I'll help you, no problem. That would be great. So yeah, any comments or queries, just let me know in the comments or get on to me and we can discuss this. So I'll get straight into it. So what can you expect if you're going to work at a Fortune 500 company? The first thing that you can expect if you're going to work at a Fortune 500 company is organization. They are organized. Fortune 500 companies did not make it on this list with no organization skills, I'll tell you that much. They are highly organized companies. You really are going to have a lot of organization, a lot of hierarchy, a lot of organization. There's probably going to be 10 or 15 managers above you. You'll report to your direct line manager, and then you may also have interactions with your manager above that and your manager above that. Then it'll all sort of wish-wash away into the distance because it just goes up too many levels. And that brings me on to my second point. There's going to be a lot of staff. These are big companies, they've got a lot of funding. We're talking about maybe 1,000 on your current site, and that's just on the site you're on. They have thousands of staff globally. That's another thing you can expect, is a lot of people to interact with, a lot of people to lean on, become friends with, get advice from, speak to. So you're going to have a lot of people that you can interact with. There's going to be a wide variety of ages. There's just going to be a lot of people around, which is great. That's another thing that I really like about working at Fortune 500 companies, is that there's just a lot of staff. There's a lot of people to interact with. They are jam-packed with staff. So the first Fortune 500 company I worked with was Pfizer. That had hundreds of people on site. It was a really, really massive site. I think it nearly reached up to over 500 people. So it was huge. I should really look up facts and figures, but I don't work there anymore, so I don't really care. Just to inform. And if you have any questions about Pfizer and what it was like working there, feel free to shoot me a line and I will fill you in. Lots of staff. Then the current one I'm working at now, there's 300 people currently, but they're planning on scaling up to 1,000 and putting a big second and third building onto the current building, which is already massive. So there is so many people for you to lean on, to speak to get guidance from. Lots of very skilled people. As I said, you'll only know your 1, 2, 3 line manager above you and your direct line manager, and you might not know the people at the top. But then there's other companies, like the company I just started in, where in my first interview I met with the top guy in the company, CEO or whatever his actual job title is, but he's the top guy on the site. He was so wonderful, and he actually makes a point to speak to every new starter, see what they're like, just have a chat with them. Then in your first 6 months, he will continue to have a meeting with you every month, which I just think is phenomenal. In this second Fortune 500 company, I'm getting to meet the top guys, the middle guys, the me guys, the you guys, the everybody guys. It's just really comforting because it's nice to know who your managers are. It's nice to know who's calling the shots. It's nice to know who you can speak to if you want, say, a promotion, but that would be your direct line manager, or to change departments. But when you have all these different layers, there's a lot of people that you can lean on and progress for yourself and for your career. Really great. Whereas when I worked at Pfizer, the first Fortune 500 company I worked at, I didn't really know the top guy on the site. I didn't really know any of the top guys. It was filtered down. It was very much hierarchical, and they didn't have that interaction. So I have to say I'm so happy with this new Fortune 500 company I've started with, and this input from the get-go, from the very top of the system right down to everybody working there, and there's an interaction and an interplay, and we have meetings together and we get involved together. It feels so good because there's a lot you can learn from these people. They've done the journey, they know the ropes, and they can really help you on your way. That's the second point I'd like to make. The third point I'd like to make about Fortune 500 companies is they are protocol insane. they didn't get to where they are without rigorous methods and methodologies in order to do certain processes and to get to certain places. So you will be inundated with procedures, SOPs. That's a system operating procedure that I used to use in Pfizer in a pharmaceutical industry. SOPs are very common. Training, online training, it's just standard. You will be required to do it. In Pfizer, because it was a pharmaceutical company, the procedures really went above and beyond, which I can totally understand because we were making, testing, producing health products. So therefore, the process had to be very well laid out and had to be very well documented. It was, which was a real pain in the because it was just all the time and you had to sign off on everything and you had to document everything so well, which makes perfect sense. But it was so excessive for me. Like, it was actually one reason why I decided to leave that job and leave that career. Actually, I left a career in the pharmaceutical industry altogether because it just drove me mad. The nitty gritty, the small details you had to get to, it just seemed so overcomplicated. And also, sometimes when you have these vast procedures and processes, they have a lot of different things in place. So I can go into more detail in this. In some jobs it has been a negative and in others it's been a positive. So it really depends on where you're at and how you feel about it and how they implement it. Really, it more depends on how the company itself implements it and whether it's done in a good way or whether it's just a pain in the in my current company that I'm in now, it's a lot more open, and of course that's a part of it, but it's just something you need to do and you just tick the box and then you're on to your other more exciting tasks, the things that you actually wanted to go to that job for, what it is you wanted to learn. So in my current role, I am now a web developer, well, a full stack developer, mainly focusing on front end, but my title is full stack on my contract. So shing. But for my entire career, for the last 3 years as a web developer, I have been working as a front-end developer, mainly with the Angular framework. Now I've moved on to React, so that's really exciting. I've got loads of new things to learn, and I'm going to be documenting and explaining this process to you as I go. So yes, if you're also interested in that, stay tuned, ask me any questions, leave a comment, and we can discuss it. So, thank you very much. The fourth point I'd like to make on what it's like to work at a Fortune 500 company is they have funding. This is great for an employee, let me tell you. Really, it's phenomenal. One thing I've had in every opportunity is you get your health insurance. Your health insurance will be included in your job, which I know in a lot of countries is a huge thing because health insurance is just so expensive, or healthcare is so expensive. In Ireland, we're lucky, I would say, because it's not too bad. People still complain about it a lot, including myself, because I'm like, 50 euros for the doctor. But I know I really shouldn't, because in a lot of places that's just unfathomably affordable. Yeah, it's different everywhere. That's a great thing about working at a Fortune 500 company. You will have your health insurance covered. Also, because of this funding, lots of other things will come into play. You tend to get your dental appointments covered. You tend to get the recommended amount of holiday days. Everything is done very much by the book. It'll be done the way it's supposed to be done, in my experience, from what I've seen. So you've got big companies, lots of staff and lots of money. If you want that promotion, there's a ladder to climb. If you want to move up to the next level, there's a ladder to climb. There's a defined set of steps to get to the next level, and they will have that charted out, hopefully. In some companies, maybe it's a bit wishy-washy. I mean, every company is different. I think in Pfizer it was okay, but it wasn't the best. Or maybe I didn't stay there long enough for them to have a conversation with me about a clear path forward and upwards. And it wasn't discussed in the beginning, which really is a bit of a shame. Whereas in the one I'm in now, from the get-go, I was told, if you want to go into a certain area, if you want to learn a new task, we just want you to be happy in your job, and we want to give you all the resources to do that. So for now, you're coming into this department. But if you decide in 6 months, a year, I'd really love to go into another department, into user experience, into product design, into management, to continue to be a solo contributor with my code, They have laid out paths there for you, and every month you get a one-on-one, you get to speak to your manager, you get to have an open conversation and decide, well, where is it that I want to go? Where do I see myself in 6 months, in a year, 5 years, 10 years? Do I want to be managing people? How do I want to climb this ladder? And they have that laid out because they're just such large companies that they have to have this figured out. There's so many layers of hierarchy of staff. They have to have this figured out. So that's a big positive, you know, for someone going in there who's driven, who's motivated. And don't even doubt yourself, okay? Another thing I'll say is, I'm just an ordinary girl. I'm just a normal person. Anybody can do this. If I did it, honestly, anybody can do this. There's nothing special about me. And everybody can do this. So I encourage you to take the positives, take whatever resonates with you, and certainly don't feel intimidated or scared or, oh wow, that sounds so good. You know, yes, it does, and you can get it too, I promise. So, and I can tell you how to get it too. You need to do some hard work, but if you're willing to put in the hours and get yourself up to a level of training and being there, you can do it. So that's another positive, is that they have a lot of money. So you can be guaranteed you're going to get raises. You can be guaranteed you're going to be able to climb a ladder. You can be guaranteed there's somewhere for you to go. If you're happy and you like the team and you like the people you're with, you can stay there for the rest of your life, which I normally last about 1 year, 2 years in jobs, because I'm just a free bird. I'm a Sagittarius. I like to change things up. I like to move around. But honestly, I get such a good feeling from this current Fortune 500 I'm in. I think I might be there for a long time, honestly. The way they've laid out the career progression, the way they've told me I can change departments, they'll do things to help me. And this all has to be seen. I'm only in a week. But I do already get that impression. I really do. And I see people who've changed departments, who've been there for a long time, and everyone is so happy. It's a real culture of happiness. That's my 4th point. So my 5th point about working at a Fortune 500 company is they have got the resources for you. The best services. And they just have lots of funding, lots of money. So there's going to be a lot of events. So you can expect to have a yoga class set up for you on your lunch break. You know, there might be an hour where you get to go and they'll bring in a yoga instructor and you can go and do yoga for free, or it might be €5. They have all those resources there for you. I know in Pfizer and also in the current company I'm in now that they organize monthly events. You know, they'll have a barbecue in the summer. They'll have a bouncy castle, a family day, and all the kids can come in and they'll get face painting, and they have different things set up for the family. I've actually just signed up for, in my current job, an art class at lunchtime. So for 3 weeks running, we're going to do sketching, drawing, and then painting. So there's 3 different classes. How wonderful is that? You know, you get to experience your creative side, learn a little bit more, and just take a nice lunch break. Isn't that a great way to spend your lunch break? So that's another thing you'll be guaranteed, is classes. In Pfizer, I used to go to a yoga class after work, and it was brilliant. I really enjoyed just to be able to finish work, go straight away to your yoga class, and then head on home. It was brilliant. That's another thing. They will have events. They tend to have a lot of summer events. They tend to have big parties. So they'll have big Christmas parties, big shindigs, big hurrahs. And you can expect prizes like a flat screen TV, cash raffles, £500 on a gift voucher. Comes back to the money. They got the money, so you're going to have the events, which just makes life fun. Yeah, it's really great. So that's another thing you can expect, is events. My next point about working at a Fortune 500 company is you're going to have the best canteens and food services. In Pfizer, we used to have a fully subsidized canteen. It was brilliant. So you wouldn't have to bring in any lunch. You'd have a fully subsidized canteen. And I used to top my card up with 20 quid a week, and it would do me for the whole week. So it was amazing. So I'd go in the morning. They had different stations. So they used to have a full fried station where they'd have all the fried food. So you'd have your sausages, your pudding, your bacon, your hash browns. They used to have poached eggs, boiled eggs, fried eggs. They had the full range. There was a full cereal selection bar. You had all of your cereals, your milk, different types of milk. They used to have a full fruit bar, so you'd have all your fruits. They actually had a fruit station, so you could get whole fruits, and then they also had cut up fruits. So you could go and get a fruit salad, and they had open yogurts and you could put yogurt on, and they had closed yogurt so you could bring a yogurt back to your desk. The choice was phenomenal. So they had the full range of fried foods at a big counter. Then they also had all the grilled food. So this is where I would go. This would be where I'd have my breakfast. So they'd have the grilled sausages, grilled rashers, grilled hash browns, grilled mushrooms, tomatoes. So I used to get myself a fry every morning. I'm not really big on eating pork. I've eaten sausages, but you know, I wouldn't want to be eating that every morning, really. I just wouldn't, personally. So each to their own, eat all whatever you want to eat, go ahead. What I used to do is get myself a fry, and it was a healthy fry, so I could sort of enjoy it every day. So I used to get grilled tomatoes, mushrooms, baked beans, toast. That was it. But yeah, it was just a big plate of like vegetables and then toast, and then I'd get some fruit and I'd get a yogurt. So that would be my breakfast. And then once you go up to the counter, you have all your chocolate bars and loads of different things. You've got your water, fizzy drinks, everything you can think of, and then your tea and coffee station. That would be my breakfast, mainly a grilled plate of food. And then I'd also have a yogurt and some fruit most mornings. Then you'd go down for your lunch. Ooh, the lunches every day, it was different. On Monday it might be fish day. I live in Ireland. We'd have like a proper fish and chips, and then they'd also do grilled fish, because there was always an option for people who wanted maybe fried food, and then people who wanted the grilled food, and then a vegetarian option. They had everything covered. And then you'd go over to the next counter, and then there was like 6 or 7 different meals to choose from. So you might have sweet and sour chicken, you might have a stew, there would be a rice dish. That would be just on the Monday. Then on the Tuesday it would be curry day or something. So they'd have a delicious curry, all different flavours. They'd have a vegetarian curry and maybe a meat curry. And then again, you'd still have your other station with all the other options. They had croissants, bread, everything. Like, I could just keep on going on. Then on a Friday you'd have something else. It could be burgers on a Friday. So they might have turkey burgers and veggie burgers and beef burgers. So the choices were endless. Like, you will get fed like a queen or a king. So yes, that's another great advantage of working at a Fortune 500 company, because food is just the bomb. I'm going to leave it there. That's my list of Fortune 500 companies. If there's anything else you'd like to know, please comment down below. Ask me any questions you'd like. It's been an absolute pleasure to fill you in. Hopefully you've learned something, and I'll continue this with more constructive topics where you can learn about how you can get a Fortune 500 job yourself. And if there's any advice you'd like, please do let me know. I would be so glad to assist and give you whatever advice I can. Peace. Thanks, guys. Have fun. Love yourself. Be yourself. And just have faith in yourself. All the best.